Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahawah Kodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who have taught us His word and teach us His word today. And I want to give a salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Yatta Zagba with the GMS Nebraska camp. This is GMS Endeavor. And in this lesson, what I want to get into is having faith in spiritual power. We have to trust that the things that the scriptures tell us is true. Let's grab this precept real fast. I didn't have this prepared. I didn't have this precept prepared. Okay. Actually, we'll grab this one. We'll grab Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, where it says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." And when you go down to verse 6 in the same chapter, it says that it is impossible to please the Lord unless we have faith. And that He's a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. So with that being said, no matter what the scriptures tell us, the scriptures are true, even if it seems far out, or it doesn't seem like we can't see it happening, or it's nothing that we've ever experienced before. We still have to have faith in it, and that faith is basically belief, even though we haven't seen it. It's belief in the unseen. It's belief in something that is to most doesn't make sense, or unsure. Now, what I want to speak about is spiritual power, because when we speak about spiritual power, we often talk about it in the aspect of us having it in the kingdom, when we will be in the new bodies, and that is definitely an aspect of it. But some brothers will have spiritual power here on this side. Some brothers will be empowered by the Most High to do certain things on this side, because we got to remember the scriptures say in Isaiah chapter 59 verse 19, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and His glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him." And this is kind of setting a balance to the lesson that I did yesterday, because in the lesson that I did yesterday, I spoke about how certain of us we are predestined to go through the trials and tests of being imprisoned and being captured by Esau and going through these different adversities. But we have to keep in mind that some brothers are predestined for martial law to come up against them, for Esau to try and snatch him up, bring him to a concentration camp. But then this scripture happens to where the Lord lifts up a standard. What is that? That's the Lord empowering certain brothers to fight against Esau and to defeat them. It says the enemy is going to come in like a flood. This is Esau. This is those troops coming in, surrounding a brother's house, breaking in, kicking down the door. But then the Lord allows them to be empowered to fight Esau off, or whatever the situation may be. But this is on this side though, and we have to have faith that these things are true. That's when that faith as a grain of a mustard seed comes in. Where when we grab that, let's grab that real fast. The faith as a grain of a mustard seed. In Matthew chapter 17 verse 20, which says, "And Yahweh Shai said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you." That faith of a mustard seed, we are that mustard seed. It's something small. It seems insignificant, and that's us in these bodies. That's us in these chains of darkness. That's us, in this carnal flesh. Yet, once you plant that mustard seed and you give it time to grow, what that mustard seed yields is a great big tree. It yields basically large fruit. And we have to have faith that we are as that mustard seed, that the Lord can empower us to do great things, even though we are but in these insignificant bodies. And the Lord has already shown us that he can do that. The Lord has already opened up a level of spiritual power within us by way of what? Us understanding this word, us being able to receive the truth of these scriptures. This isn't given to everybody. Let's grab this scripture real fast. Let's see. This is Matthew chapter 13, verse 15. It says, "For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear." We are blessed. We have received the blessing to be able to understand these words, to be able to have the level of faith required to believe what the scriptures tell us is going to come to pass, to have the level of understanding and spiritual awareness to understand the truth of these scriptures, to understand who we are. Because you have a lot of our people amongst the nation of Israel, you could break these scriptures down to them up and down and up, but they wouldn't get it because the Lord hasn't opened them up to understand it. But we have been anointed with the eye salve to be able to understand it and be able to break down these treasures and get into it. This isn't a light thing. This is beautiful. That's a level of spiritual power. Being anointed with the eye salve is a level of our spirit being unlocked to receive this word, which not everybody has been given. You have people that have been going to school to understand the scriptures and have been going to these schools for years, been pouring their life into the theological schools, yet we have greater understanding than they do. That's a spiritual blessing. That's spiritual power in and of itself. And then when we look at, I was pondering on this earlier, to where you think of for example, Alexander the Great, so-called. When you look at what he did to conquer all the lands that he did in the short amount of time that he did to instate the Greek Empire. And I know this is random, but I'll make the point. When Alexander conquered all those lands in that short amount of time he did with something that had never been done before, something that has never been done again, at the level of conquering that he did it because it was the Lord's will for him to do it. The scriptures prophesied that Alexander was going to be as that leopard, that being represented as a leopard because he was going to conquer at the speed that he did. That leopard with wings, that was the Lord's will for him to do that. And so if it was the Lord's will, the Lord empowered him to be able to win those battles at the rate that he did, to be able to have the tact and the military prowess to defeat everybody that he defeated. And you see, right after Alexander did what he did, he got that illness because the Lord was done with him. That's what he needed him for. And then he was casted aside. Now if the Lord could do that for a heathen to further his will, the Lord can do that for us. The Lord can awaken and put different abilities and allow us to do certain things if it's within his will. If we are of the elect, if the Lord has it in his will that we won't be taken to a concentration camp, that we won't be defeated by Esau's troops when they come against us. If the Lord can allow a heathen to be empowered by his will and be able to defeat his enemies at doing great feats the way that Alexander did, he's going to do that for his men. We have to believe these things. We have to have faith in that. We should look at when the Maccabees defeated the Greek armies, when they were always at the disadvantage. The Lord empowered Judas Maccabeus and his brothers Judas Maccabeus and his brothers and that small army they had to win all those battles that they won, because it was the Lord's will for it to be so. So this same thing can happen with us. Let's grab John chapter 14, verse 12, which says, Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also, and greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. So it doesn't take nothing for the Lord to put the power within brothers to heal different people. Let's look at the things Yahweh Shai did, where Yahweh Shai was able to resurrect people, heal people, do miracles. He was able to walk on water. He was able to multiply food. He was able to do these different things. And Yahweh Shai said that we are going to be able to do the things that he did and greater. Now, of course, we're going to be able to do those things in the kingdom, but again, we're going to receive, some brothers are going to receive a level of power on this side to do those things. Brothers are going to be able to walk on water, to fly, to do certain things, within the Lord's will, where it needs to be done. Because if it's the Lord's will to do so, he'll empower whoever he wants. And we have to have faith in that, and the scriptures tell us that these things will be so. So that's all I want to grab at this lesson. Lord's will, it was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahawah Hakudash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS, and a salutation unto the elect. Shalom.